All the secrets behind the Rothschild fortune. It all began with one man, Mayer Amschel Rothschild. Born in the 1740s, he grew up in a Jewish ghetto in Frankfurt. At the age of 11, Mayer lost his parents. Forced to work at an early age, he turned to finance. He started out as a bank apprentice, then became a coin dealer. He did well, climbed the social ladder, and within a few years became banker to the county of Hesse-Kassel. At just 20, he directly advises Wilhelm I, Prince-Elector of Hesse-Kassel, considered the biggest fortune in Europe. Mayer Rothschild gradually grew richer until he became the richest man in Frankfurt. In the 1770s, Mayer married Guttel Schnapper. Together they had 19 children, 10 of whom reached adulthood and 5 of them boys. After educating them and passing on his knowledge, he sent only his sons to various major European cities. James went to Paris, Nathan to London, Salomon to Vienna, and Kalman to Naples. The fifth, Amschel, remained in Frankfurt. It was the height of the Industrial Revolution. The United Kingdom was the world's superpower, and Nathan, who had been sent to London, began to invest in the textile industry. In just a few years, he turned the £20,000 he'd started with into £800,000. Then, following in his father's footsteps, he opened his first Rothschild bank outside Frankfurt. Those in Vienna and Naples followed shortly afterwards. Although far apart, the 5 brothers acted as one. They pooled their assets and helped each other out. By striving to keep to themselves, coupled with ultra-fast private communication, the House of Rothschild became Europe's largest bank within a few years. Then, at the end of the 18th and beginning of the 19th century, war raged in Europe. And while for some companies it was a bloodbath, for the Rothschilds, war rhymed with the opportunity to get even richer. In fact, Mayer Amschel Rothschild was already doing just that, financing the armies fighting against Napoleon. Why? To consolidate his position as a lender to governments on the European financial scene. His sons followed suit, and the Rothschild family became one of the main financiers of Napoleon's wars. And it was thanks to the Battle of Waterloo that Nathan pulled off the coup of the century in 1815. Remember earlier when we told you that the family's strength lay in its lightning-fast private communications? Well, according to legend, this was so effective that when Napoleon lost to Wellington, Nathan knew about it before the rest of England did. He then decided to spread the opposite rumor, causing a wave of panic on the London market. Investors dumped their shares on the stock exchange, selling them at derisory prices, which Nathan buys back. When the British victory is finally announced, the shares bought the day before for a pittance are now worth a fortune. The Rothschilds' wealth exploded, and this is just one example of how war became the driving force behind their fortunes. Once the war was over, the Rothschilds invested in railroads. James, who had been sent to France a few years earlier, created the Northern Railway Company in France, which would later become one of the main components of the French National Railway Society. Here, too, they made a fortune. To preserve their wealth and lineage, the Rothschilds encouraged intermarriage between cousins. Between 1824 and 1877, 15 out of 21 marriages were between direct descendants. The family thus became a form of dynasty, with a family tree of unspeakable complexity. Because when you're both your uncle's nephew and son-in-law, as well as his wife's cousin, it's complicated to explain. In the family, only male descendants can run the business. This is why the branches in Naples and Germany disappeared, because only women heirs were born. But in 1933, everything changed for the Rothschilds. Hitler came to power, and Jewish people were excluded from economic and social life. The Rothschilds' assets were confiscated, their banks closed, and some members deported. The family took refuge in America and Spain, and the establishments they left behind were pillaged. Despite the dramatic situation, the Rothschilds bounced back. They established their commercial presence in the USA and gained an international dimension. Today, conspiracy theories and fantasies about their wealth still surround the family. They own dozens of mansions, yachts, hotels, art collections, restaurants, and vineyards. While the amount of their fortune is unknown, the lowest estimate is at least $350 billion. As this money is divided between the members, it's hardly surprising that they don't appear in the Forbes rankings.